Hey guys, Mark here, and you know when you can't make up your mind about something and you decide to flip a coin? Well, while that coin is flipping through the air and it's about to land, you secretly hope that the coin lands a certain way. And in that moment, you realize that you didn't need to flip a coin at all because you already knew what the outcome was that you wanted. Well, that's what happened to me as soon as I put up the poll asking you guys which phone you wanted me to review. I really couldn't make up my mind on whether I wanted the S21, the S21 Plus, or the S21 Ultra, so I threw up that poll. But the moment I did, I started hoping you guys would pick the plain old S21. You ended up picking the S21 Ultra, so naturally I bought that phone for you guys to review and make videos on, but I also said, you know what, screw it. I'm getting the S21 too. So here they are, the S21 in Phantom White and the S21 Ultra in Phantom Black. I'm not going to show the full unboxing experience, well, because to be honest, there's not much to show. Samsung's got the phone, a quick start guide, and a USB-C cable in there, and nothing else. Much like the iPhone 12 series, there's no charging brick or earbuds in the box this year, even for the much more expensive $1,200 Ultra. At the very least, both phones do come with a screen protector pre-installed though. The first thing I noticed when I pulled both of these phones out of the box was just how shockingly similar the backs of the phones felt. On the S21, Samsung threw a polycarbonate or plastic back on the phone, and it definitely feels like plastic. That much I knew and I was expecting when I pulled it out of the box. What I wasn't expecting was that the back of the Ultra feels almost exactly the same, even though I know it's Gorilla Glass Victus. It's got almost the same feel as plastic, except it's just a touch smoother, and it even sounds like plastic when you tap on it. That's not good, especially for a $1,200 phone. I have to admit though, the matte black finish does look badass. We'll have to see how well that coating holds up over time, but for now, it looks incredible. It just doesn't feel incredible, at least to me. I really like what Samsung has done with the camera bumps here. I think it's really unique, and I really like that they bleed over the edge of the phone. They could have gone with another boxy bump with huge rounded circles again. Well, I guess the circles are kind of huge, but you know what I mean. They tried to be different this year, and I appreciate that. We may have officially hit the point where camera bumps are getting too big though. The S21 Ultra's bump is just monstrous. If I had to pick which phone is more comfortable to hold, I'd go with the S21. It's an entire 55 grams lighter than the S21 Ultra at 170 and 225 grams respectively. That's one of the upsides of a plastic back and a smaller frame. This white matte plastic is going to pick up a lot less fingerprints than the matte black glass is too. Even though that smaller display makes the S21 more reachable and more comfortable to use, there should be no doubt that the Ultra has the technically more impressive display in every way. It's sharper because it has a 1440p panel over the 1080p one in the vanilla S21. It's bigger, it's brighter, it can vary its refresh rate all the way down to 10 Hz to save battery life, whereas the S21 can only go down to 48 Hz, and it's got an ever so slight curve to the edges of the glass that makes it more high-end in general. I'm normally not the kind of guy that prefers curved glass because it usually leads to a lot of accidental touches, but this glass is not curved enough to make that happen, and it just ends up looking a little better than the flat glass of the S21. The Ultra can also use an S Pen, sort of like the Note 20 Ultra. The reason I say sort of is because it's a passive stylus and it doesn't have a lot of the features that the Note 20 series S Pens had, not to mention there's no silo, so you'll need to buy the new case in addition to the new S Pen as well if you want to carry it with you a lot. These phones are now running One UI 3.1, and while I haven't had much time to play with it, I generally like the tweaks that Samsung have made to their software, especially the fact that they brought Google Discover back when you swipe over. I really love that. As is to be expected, both phones feel lightning quick too, and I didn't notice any real performance difference between the S21 and the S21 Ultra so far, which makes sense given they're both running Qualcomm's new Snapdragon 888 processor. The Ultra does have 12 gigs of RAM compared to the S21's 8, but I don't expect that to make a huge difference for most applications. I don't want to talk a whole lot about the cameras in either of these phones in this video because honestly I haven't had enough time to play around with them to talk much about them. But there are a few standout features that I've played with that I do want to talk about, like how the ultra-wide cameras on the Ultra now have autofocus and can be used to take awesome macro shots. Or this new director's mode where you can record with two cameras at once and switch between them on the fly. You can have one on yourself while you're talking and one on the subject in front of you that you're talking about. Neat. Trust me, there's lots more content coming on the camera side of things in my full review, but for now, here are a few photo samples that I managed to grab while setting up the phone and testing it out for a few hours. I've already said this in my Note 20 review late last year, but I feel like Samsung has really stepped up their game lately when it comes to smartphone photography. You know what I find weird about these phones though? As technically impressive as they are, I can't help but feel the best new thing about both of these phones is the new price. The S20 last year started at $1,000 and the Ultra was a whopping $1,400. This year, the S21 starts at $800 and the Ultra starts at $1,200. That's a big drop. Yes, they did give us a plastic back on the S21. There's no charger or earbuds in either of the boxes, and they removed the SD card slots, but honestly, I'd rather take the $200 any day of the week. Not to mention we got updated internals in the form of the Snapdragon 888 and better cameras. So as for my first impressions, they're pretty good. Aside from the Ultra's glass but plastic feeling weirdness, I'm liking both of these phones so far. The question is, where do I go from here? Because I'm not gonna keep both of them. My bank account really wouldn't like that. I think what I'm gonna do is spend a week with each of these phones, get to know all the pros and cons of them, test the cameras, test the battery life, test the performance, test everything, and then pick one of them to keep and then send the other back to the store so that I can afford to eat next month. In any case, like I said, full reviews of each of these phones are coming real soon once I test them out and get to know them a little better. And if you like this video, please give it a like to support my channel. And as always, have a great day.